So we're going to focus on our grips, we're going to focus on entries, all the ways that we can maintain and keep that open guard and stop our partner or our opponent getting passed into side control or a better position. So the first part of this, we're going to look at establishing our grips and what we do with them. Okay, so before we get any entries, we're just going to look at what grips we need to be looking at. The first grip we're going to look at is the double sleeve pocket grip. Now the pocket grip, making sure that we don't put our fingers or our thumbs inside the actual gi sleeve, but we want to use this to turn it. 4 fingers in, anything less, you may damage your fingers during transitions. 4-finger pocket grip, okay? The grips we're going to look at with our feet, or the placements, we're going to have both feet onto the hips, all right? Toes want to be pointing away from our partner. We don't want our feet inwards. Making sure that our knees, or our hips are flared, so we don't want to have tight knees. The first one we're going to look at, once we've got the pocket grip, we're going to look to push away with our feet and bring our sleeves up towards our armpits. As we push and as we pull, we use it to sit up. And you can see how our partner is at a disadvantage here because they're far away, they don't have the grips. Very important, look at my grips here. If I have my grips low, he's going to grab my trousers here. And now he can control my legs quite easily. So I need to make sure that the arms, imagine I'm looking at my watch. I'm trying to look at my watch. So I pull them in, elbows super high, and pushing him away. I need to be sat up also. So I don't want to be flat on my neck, on my back of my head. I want to make sure I'm sat up. Second grips we're going to look at is when our partner is either quite low or forward. So we're going to make sure that we keep the sleeve grip, but we're going to take a collar grip. This is what we call the collar and the sleeve. So sleeve grip the same and the collar grip. The good thing about the collar grip is I'm able to pull him into me whilst maintaining the sleeve grip. See how the arm here is straight, the collar, and feet again are on the hips. So again, if I need to, I can use this to push and pull, elevate, move my partner around. The final one we're going to use, I'm just going to spin round. So that's head point. The final one we're going to look at is once we've got collar and sleeve grip. A lot of times people bring a foot close. This is an instance where one foot's in and one foot's far back. So the third series, or the third grips in this basic series, is the trouser grip, the pant grip. Like before, we use a turn-up grip and control the outside of the pants. We don't put any hands or fingers inside. It's illegal in competition. We can hurt ourselves. So we make sure that we turn it up. My right hand here stays on the collar, or in some instances, when I have the double sleeve grip, I can take off the sleeve and control. Just a few principles we need to be aware of. When I don't have control of the sleeves, my partner can always use one of his hands now to control my legs. So, we always have to be mindful and decide what we're going to use. So, given these 3 grips, we're just going to run through a little sequence of movements, okay? First one is when I've got the collar, the double sleeve grip, and I push my partner away. You see how if he stands up straight like he's doing, he's at a disadvantage because I'm pushing and I'm pulling. So when will we go from the collar? Well, absolutely. If he drops his weight down, and you see how my knees now bend. Sitting up, taking the collar grip, now pulling him back in, sets me up with options. The next phase, because I've let go of the sleeve, and I've gone for the collar, he's now taken a pant grip. So my 2 options, number 1, I bring my knee in, I re-grip, I strip this grip by kicking my leg aggressively out, pulling, feet back to the hips, extend out. My partner does nothing. I'm in a good position to start attacking and moving him around. If he starts to lower his base, I sit up, I take the collar, I pull him back in for the collar and sleeve. He grabs, I regrip, break. Foot on the hip, extend, push away. He drops his weight, I sit up, I grab, and I can pull him back. If I want to maintain my collar and sleeve grip, but he takes a grip of my trouser leg, I'm going to bring my foot back, step on the inside, extend, and now we can just spin around this angle. So now you can see, with my foot on his bicep, I can control his grip whilst maintaining collar and the sleeve. So this could be another option from the collar and sleeve, thinking about the grips. The final grip sequence would be, again, if I have the double sleeve and extend away. This time maybe my partner steps forward and he steps back with his other, so he's creating like a sideways angle. See how my legs want to fall into this gap here, because he's not square on anymore. This is where I take my hand and I control this grip here. Especially if you have more dynamic players who want to move around quite fast. If he tries to move around and I maintain this grip on his trouser pant grip, he's going to find it hard to get away completely and move around. And I can still use that to extend him out, keep in control, re-enter any grips I can. So, the 3 grips you want to look at: double sleeve, extend my partner, but keep the distance. If he drops down, I sit up, I take the collar grip. This enables me to bring his posture in and over me more. Now I have the options here. If I find he steps back with one leg and he changes the hips, see how his hips have changed, they're no longer square to mine, I take the grip here. And vice versa, if he changes hips and switches his left leg to me and his right leg back, I change this grip, keeping what I call a cross grip or a diagonal grip, one side of his leg, one side of his body and the other side of his body. I can go back to here, pull him in, take the grip, extend. So, as a basic starting point for your open guard, we want to look at double sleeves, collar sleeve, and the pant grip.